Is Meghan Markle ruining Christian Dior? Yes, I love Christian Dior. I think it's classic. I think it's beautiful. But every time I see Meghan Markle in a Dior outfit, I think A, that's not Dior, and B, golly, can she take a haute couture look and just really, really pull it down? And this came to light for me when I saw Meghan Markle in these very ugly $400 Bermuda shorts that I know you could buy from Ann Taylor for 40 bucks or less. And I just thought to myself, like, how is it that she grabs the plainest thing? I mean, those shorts cost $400 and just drag down the look. So I thought it'd be interesting to actually compare Meghan Markle and her kind of disastrous Dior decisions that always make me think, oh, I really don't like Dior, to Beatrice Borromeo, who is she's basically a descendant from Italian aristocracy, and she is married to Grace Kelly's grandson. And she is beautiful. She has very much that old world European beauty, and she has a very effortless style. And she is actually a brand ambassador for Dior, and so is her husband, Pierre Katsaragi. So I just thought it would be fun for a moment to compare Meghan Markle to Beatrice Borromeo and just show what Dior should look like, rather than how Meghan drags the look down. But before we get started, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Brittany, and on Royal Fashion News, we will talk about everything related to royal fashion. So that's jewelry, tiaras, clothing, shoes. We will do it all here. So if you guys want to go ahead and subscribe, that would be fantastic. Like I said, I love Dior. I actually think Dior is great. But every time I see Meghan Markle in a Dior look, and I'm like, oh honey. But then every time I see Beatrice Borromeo in that look, I'm like, I want to buy everything in that look. And again, like I said, this really came to me when I was thinking about Meghan Markle in New York. We were told by Meghan's Mirror, and that apparently Meghan, when she was at her lunch with Gloria Steinem, was wearing Dior Bermuda shorts. Yes, Bermuda shorts from Dior. And I remember just looking at those shorts thinking to myself, I mean, I know I've owned those exact same shorts, and I got them from Ann Taylor. And I actually had a pair of Bermuda shorts from Michael Kors for many years that had like the same middle crease that were 40 bucks probably. And so I just like, A, how are you paying 90% more than I paid for basically the shorts that look the same? And I think a huge part of Meghan's problem is that she can't style things well. And so she takes these Bermuda shorts, which I think on somebody else or in a different styling could actually look much better. But Meghan just pairs it with a plain oversized white button up, no real interesting styling, and Manolo Blahnik pumps. I mean, that looks just, I'm sorry, it just leaves a lot to be desired. And I just think to myself, how is it that she takes haute couture looks basically? And I mean, Dior, those shorts were ready to wear, so they weren't haute couture, but Christian Dior is a huge, huge fashion house. How does she take something from that huge fashion house that was made and is exquisitely made and just make it look so cheap? And I think a lot of it does come down to styling. And I think also that Meghan Markle doesn't let anybody really fit things to her correctly. But it also comes down to, I think, just understanding style. And that's where Meghan Markle completely and utterly fails. And she thinks buying something expensive makes up for her lack of style. And here it clearly does not. So I was just thinking of a couple comparisons. So I just thought we'll take this first look here with these Bermuda shorts. I'm going to find and I'm going to put in other options that cost much less than this. Because again, you just look at this look and go, it's boring. There's nothing interesting about it. And I know Meghan likes to go for this simplistic style, and she's talked before about how, you know, she really learned the importance of a crisp white shirt, but she's not really actually doing it well. She's not doing this look any justice at all, in my opinion. And there's just nothing interesting about it. I don't know if it's the shorts, I don't know if it's the shoes, I don't know if it's just the button down. Like, there's just something though that's not working with this outfit. I think one of the things she could have done is I actually looked through Dior's website because I was just curious if the shorts were still on there. When I heard they're from Dior, I was like, ugh. And I looked through and I found these cute sailor shorts that are also Bermuda length, but they have an interesting button detail to them. So here's kind of my theory. I don't mind buying expensive things, oftentimes because they're cut very well. I have a Smythe blazer. It's in, maybe I should grab it. Hold on one sec. Okay, I am back. So here is my Smythe blazer, and I got it on sale. I did not pay full price. I do not believe in paying full price, guys. If you can get it on sale, get it on sale. These don't necessarily go on sale, but Saks and Neiman Marcus both carry this, and sometimes they have great deals, like if you spend so much, you get so much off. And these blazers are expensive, and I got this one on sales at Saks. And honestly, I wish I had waited for longer because it went on sale even better, and I really missed out. But it's kind of a lavender color, and it's gorgeous. And honestly, you know, you look at this and I mean, it's just a blazer, but when you put it on, it has such an exquisite cut that it really elevates this beyond a normal blazer, and I think actually makes it worth purchasing. I won't kind of model it because I'm not at my best weight right now, but it actually, the way it's cut, because it has this little pocket detail on the back, when you put it on, especially like from the sides, it immediately like drops like 10 pounds from you, I feel like. It is exquisitely, exquisitely cut. So I think in this terms, the cost actually makes a ton of sense for this blazer. And Catherine has these, and I think definitely they're worth the price. So I think there's something to be said for buying something that has an exquisite cut. And sometimes it's only the higher end fashion houses that can give you that. I think the same thing actually with designer pumps. There's something about the way designer pumps are cut that's just different than the pumps you can get from like Michael Kors and Jessica Simpson. I mean, you can get those. There's nothing wrong with them. I own a lot of them. But you look at the designer shoes and there's just something, there's just a little bit extra to that cut. I don't know what it is, but just elevates it to the next level. But then you have here, and I mean, part of it is styling too. I think styling makes a huge difference. But then you look at Meghan, those Bermuda shorts. You can buy those same Bermuda shorts anywhere, just like the blazer. You can buy a blazer anywhere as a woman. But to get the cut, to make it more interesting, I think that's where Smythe blows it out of the water. Now, for example, the Row, which does very simplistic looks that are extremely expensive. I don't know necessarily if the cut's not exceptional, I wouldn't buy a blazer from them because I'm spending $2,500 on a blazer when I could probably get a blazer on sale for 25 bucks if I play my cards right. Anyways, Meghan has these Bermuda shorts and there's nothing interesting about them. So I look at those and go, why are you paying $400 for those shorts? There's nothing in that look. There's nothing that you're wearing that elevates those shorts beyond just regular shorts. If she could style it better, I'd go, yeah, I'd be okay with it. But looking at her look is just, it doesn't work. And I compare this to Beatrice Borromeo, who actually was photographed around the same time in a very, very casual look. And her look works. Meghan is going for this weird semi-casual, not casual look that just, I don't think works. It's just too weird. And it's just not styled well enough. You know, there's just not an effortless cool to her. Whereas European women, I don't know what it is. I so admire them because I feel like they have this effortless chic look, especially the French and the Italians. They just have this effortless chicness to them. And she has that. And Beatrice Borromeo, she's wearing just regular denim shorts. She actually has a lot of Dior on though. Her shirt's Dior, her bag's Dior, her sunglasses are Dior. I believe her shoes are Dior as well. And she's just walking through. And I just gravitate towards Beatrice's look so much more than Meghan's. Because Meghan is just, it doesn't work. Whereas Beatrice has this beautiful casual chicness to it that I just really, really admire. And then you also think, so Beatrice has one of their book bags, and their book bags you can personalize. So she has her name, Beatrice, on it. Now, she doesn't have a title, even though if her parents were married when they had her, she could have had a title. Her title would have been Dame. And so D-A-M-E. Not Dame, but Dom, and I think in Italian. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, so she could have had that title, but her parents weren't married when they had her, so she doesn't. Her husband, even though he's descended from Prince Rainier and his grandmother was Grace Kelly, he does not have a title. Only in his family, his youngest sister does, and that's because Princess Alexandra was the daughter of Prince Ernst of Hanover and Princess Caroline. They were married. They're still technically married, even though they haven't been together for like 20 years or something like that. So anyways, Beatrice has just Beatrice on her bag. Maxima, Queen of the Netherlands, also has a Dior book bag. And if I remember correctly, her bag just says Maxima on it. Because that makes sense, because her name is Maxima. I mean, she could maybe have them put Queen Maxima on it, but does it really matter? Her name's Maxima. And, you know, people do call her Queen, but they don't walk around in her home calling her Queen. And why does she need Queen on her bag when she is Queen? I compare this to Meghan Markle and her Lady Dior bag, which has Duchess of Sussex on the side, even though Duchess of Sussex doesn't fit. So she has this stupid acronym on there. DSSOS. So abbreviation of Duchess of Sussex. And I just look at this Lady Dior bag and I was like, you could have just put Meghan on it. That would have made a crap ton more sense than DSSOS. Are you saying SOS? Are you letting us know you're in trouble, Meghan? Like, it was just, when I saw that, I was like, A, I was like, oh my gosh. And B, I was just like, that looks so dumb. Do you understand how dumb that looks, Meghan? I don't think she does. But it's just like, again, the comparison there. It's like, Beatrice, I know she doesn't have a royal title or anything, but at least Maxima does have a royal title. And her bag just says Maxima. Beatrice's bag just says Beatrice. And Meghan, of course, has to slap her title on anything, probably because she knows she's going to lose it at some point. So she's got to make sure she slaps it on as much of her personal property as humanly possible. But it's just like her obsession with Dior is very weird. And we also heard from the Tom Bower book that apparently Meghan really loves Dior and was very upset at a hotel that they did not have Dior a bathrobe for her, which she was probably going to steal, and said they just had a Tempur-Pedic one. So anyways, kind of just the next look to compare is Beatrice and Meghan, while pregnant, both kind of wearing gold Dior gowns. So Meghan Markle, when she was in Morocco, wore this custom haute couture Dior dress that allegedly cost upwards of $100,000 for that look. $100,000. Yes. And honestly, it doesn't look that good. It's from certain angles, it just held her bump weird. It just looked weird. It wasn't, I don't think, flattering. I don't think the coloring was flattering. I think she should have gone with a jewel tone instead of a neutral in this situation. It just, I found it kind of washed her out. I didn't understand the color choice at all, really. Like, it was like taupe, but it was like kind of goldish. I don't know. It just, I think on multiple levels just did not work. And of course, every piece had to be custom Dior. And so you're just looking at that going, it's like, really $100 grand for that? Like, you couldn't even get something that looked halfway decent. And again, it just didn't hit her bump right. And it could have been the fabric that they used. It just wasn't flattering on her. She also had a weird bump because I think Meghan Markle has she's very square, so she has no stomach. So there was like nowhere for her bump to go, really. And so it just always looked very awkward and grew weird. And I mean, there's all sorts of rumors about surrogacy. Not going to go there, but it just didn't look great. And then you compare this to Beatrice, and she was at, I believe it was a Dior event, and she wore this gorgeous, like, kind of, I mean, there was just something fascinating about it. Dior dress, and it had like, it was like tassel-y, and it just, and she had this beautiful, beautiful updo to her that kind of gave her this Grecian goddess look. And I was just so impressed by that. And I just absolutely love it. Obviously, she was pregnant, so it was interesting because it was kind of long and it was short, and she just looked stunning. I love the gold. I love the updo. The makeup was natural, like, and she had these beautiful earrings. I mean, she just looks stunning. And she's wearing flats too, which I kind of understand because she is rather tall and she's pregnant, and so she's probably a bit uncomfortable. But it was interesting because it both showed a bit of leg and had some movement to it as well. So Meghan probably couldn't have really worn something like this, but I gravitate towards Beatrice's so much more because there's something really interesting about it. There's something really kind of otherworldly about it in a way. And Dior, if you don't know that much about the House of Dior, it's also very, very feminine and romantic. That's kind of the history. I actually went to a Dior store in Hawaii. If you don't know, if you go to Hawaii, they actually have special island pricing for most designer goods. So you'll actually save some money if you purchase something designer there. And Dior, that's no exception. And so I went to the Dior store, and the guy kind of gave me a bit of history, and it's very much known for, I think, this ladylike silhouette, which I don't think fits Meghan's really style and body type. She's not really, I don't really feel, she's more streamlined. I don't think romantic, more flowy type things actually flatter her all that well. So I don't think, anyways, the Dior style really works for Meghan, which is why I think partly why Meghan looks terrible in everything she puts on in Dior. But I think Beatrice here, again, just looks utterly stunning. She and her husband both look gorgeous, and I love that it kind of shows a bit of leg, but it's also very, very interesting look. And now the next thing we compare is Meghan Markle at the service of Thanksgiving for the Queen at the Platinum Jubilee. She wore this look that many people compared to Carmen Sandiego. And I mean, it really did. She's wearing a trench coat over perhaps a dress. And Meghan Markle has like these trench coat dresses. And I actually do do like trench coat dresses too. But there's something, like, it always feels like she's wearing a coat as a dress rather than a dress that is a trench coat that has been transformed into a dress, if that makes sense. So a dress that is, been inspired by a trench coat, rather Meghan's wearing a trench coat as a dress. It just doesn't totally work. And I think, again, too, it was kind of a weirdly bulky fabric. I didn't like the hat. Meghan's hat game is terrible, by the way. And it's just, there was just none of it that worked for me. And obviously, you know, this is somewhat of a personal preference, but I just was not impressed with it in the slightest. And I thought for her one big event, it kind of washed her out. It just wasn't even the right color for her. All the other ladies wore very colorful jewel tones. She wore this white thing. It just didn't work for me. But you compare that to Beatrice Borromeo at the recent Monaco National Day. And she's actually also wearing Dior, and actually kind of a similar silhouette in a way, except for she's wearing a darker, heavier coat because it's something that does happen in November, so it's starting to get a bit cold. And she has this wide brim hat, and she just has this j'adore, you know, shoes. She looks stunning. She looks elegant. She looks regal. She looks, honestly, I feel like one of the women in the Monaco royal household that's carrying on the banner of Grace Kelly the most, besides perhaps maybe Charlotte a bit, is Beatrice. Beatrice, to me, very much reminds me of Grace Kelly, and this I feel like is a Grace Kelly inspired look. She looked incredibly, incredibly elegant in it, and I love the belt, I love the details. It's just all, it really, really works for me. And I will say, I actually do own these pair in a very similar style, except for these are flats. These were actually a huge queue for me. So I actually got these at Nordstrom Rack for $220. These retail for like 900 bucks. So I have no clue why they're at Nordstrom Rack, but they are gorgeous and I love them. And I don't wear them that often because I did unfortunately scuff the toe right here. But, you know, Dior, again, beautiful, beautiful look. And I just do really, really love these. So I totally understand why Beatrice has these in this look. The other kind of big thing Meghan wore, there are kind of two other big Dior things that Meghan wore. One of them was to the christening of Archie. So I can't really talk about this look much because we didn't really get any details on it. Again, it was like a totally custom piece, although I guess it was inspired by something else, which had a very low cut neckline, and it looks like they adjusted it a bit. It was a bit shorter. And again, from what we can see of it, there's nothing super special about it. And Beatrice, and actually I will actually compare her as well to Princess Alessandra of Hanover. So she's actually kind of sort of linked to Beatrice because Alexandra of Hanover, so this is Pierre's younger sister, so this is Beatrice's husband's sister. Yes, I know. So her father is Ernst of Hanover, and Ernst, one of his sons, married Alessandra. So this is at a recent Dior fashion event, and Beatrice is just wearing this white button-up dress with this like lace detail down below. And again, there's something just beautiful about it, romantic about it, simple about it, and it just, again, it's just one of those things that works really, really well. And I can't see Meghan's look to the full extent, so I can't totally say, but I feel like Beatrice's look really, really knocks it out of the park. But I also love Alessandra's look. It's so interesting looking, and it's like something I feel like I shouldn't like, but I really love because there's just interesting texture to it. She looks gorgeous. I just love that look. And again, Meghan, it looks like it's basically just a plain white dress she's wearing. And because, this will tie into the next outfit, Meghan is so finicky about having people style things to her that most of her stuff doesn't fit correctly because they keep having to redo things again and again and again, and it never ends up fitting. That's kind of what happened with her wedding dress, and that's happened, I think, with a lot of other of her styles as well, is that I wouldn't be surprised if it was big, if it didn't fit right, if it wrinkled, like all these sorts of things. It would not surprise me in the slightest. But I love Alessandra's look, I love Beatrice's look, and I love interesting and unique cuts and just having like this very feminine look. I love also shirt dresses. Button-up shirt dresses are one of my favorite looks with a gorgeous, lovely belt. So I just love Beatrice's look. And kind of the final big Christian Dior look that Meghan Markle had. And this is one I actually kind of like. I kind of like it. But at the same time, I also don't like it. And I love the simplicity of it. I love kind of her hat is kind of reminiscent of a propeller, and they were at an RAF event. So I actually really appreciate that kind of touch. I think is very, very nice. However, I feel like it's smashing her chest. It's so tight, it's like smashing. And so I feel like her boobs look weird. And then the seams on her dress also come to a bit of a point and are awkwardly kind of placed. And so I just don't think it's a super flattering look in a way. I feel like it is flattering and it isn't flattering, if that makes sense. Like, it's not a bad cut, but I just feel like, obviously, like this, like I said before, she's so finicky and so demanding that they keep trying to fit something to her and it just doesn't fit right. In this instance, I think they made it too tight. So it just is not all that flattering on her. It's not a terrible look in my opinion, but I just don't think it works. And basically everything I see Beatrice in works. So she was at this jewelry show event and she's wearing this black dress and it was a tank kind of style in the straps and it's black and it's gorgeous. And it was at a jewelry fashion house that she's a brand ambassador for as well. But I just think that look really is quite incredible. And it's just very simple, kind of like Meghan went for, but Beatrice's actually fits and it actually works. And again, it just goes back to kind of the general thing is Meghan doesn't have a particular sense of style. She just wants to buy very expensive things. Now, I will say I'm a bit like Meghan. I like my designer labels for sure, absolutely. But I also like buying things that I know look good and know flatter me. And I feel like every time Meghan buys things, she's buying things that just don't work for her body shape. And it ends up making her look bad, even though that's not the intention of the designer, of course. She just looks bad because she's buying something that just doesn't fit her body type, doesn't fit what looks best with her style. I think more streamlined looks kind of work better for Meghan. She needs a bit more of a waist when she can get it, but like this yellow outfit, I feel like is very flattering for Meghan here. But her kind of more ladylike appearance of Dior, I just don't think works. And I think Beatrice looks so good in it. I'll share a couple of my looks of Beatrice's that I love. One of them is this look from Venice, and so she was wearing this gown. I actually kind of based my outfit today off that gown a bit, and kind of with the big earrings, similar big earrings too. And I just love it. There's something, I mean, it's obviously shows a lot of leg, but there's something also very elegant about it, very classy about it, and it's just an interesting look, and I think she pulls it off exceptionally well. I also love her red button-up dress she wore recently in Monaco too. Again, so flattering. And she also, for the Rose dinner that Monaco has every year, she wore this kind of gray dress, and we did not get like great pictures of it, so I hope we see it again. But I think, again, she's tall enough, statuesque enough, where that dress really rocks, I think. It looks fantastic. It's simple, but it also has this very classic pattern that you don't see a ton of. So it's not floral, but it's more a fleur-de-lis type pattern. And so it just really works. But kind of the one thing that I think really stands out and shows her as kind of, you know, the herald of Grace Kelly is this another look from the Rose Ball. And this is, she has a bun up and she has long gloves on, and it's kind of this shimmery tulle look, and it's just so elegant and looks stunningly gorgeous. I love that Dior look. I mean, that is Dior to me. She looks classic, she looks elegant, she looks timeless. And I think Meghan Markle could really take some style hints from Beatrice and really find a style that works for her and really embrace it. I think now, again, I think Meghan is all about just buying Dior rather than considering if the Dior looks actually work for her. And unfortunately, I haven't seen them really look good for her at all, let alone a pair of $400 Bermuda shorts. Those were a fashion faux pas to the nth degree. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. And what was your favorite look from Beatrice Borromeo? I just love her fashion. I think every time I see something she wears, I'm like, oh, I want it so badly. And she just, again, has that timeless, effortless, elegant chic that women from France and Italy have. And she is Italian, and she is ancient Italian. So her family goes back at least 500 plus years. So she has a long history, her family does, and so I think she pulls that off very well, while Meghan just keeps buying Dior, and it just makes me think, oh man, did Dior take style inspiration from Ann Taylor? Really? Yeah. So not a great. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.